Hey friend, listen, if you're stepping into a new year and you're feeling the pressure to figure everything out, this is your reminder and an invitation to pause. Before you set your goals, make your plans, decide what's next, what if you chose connection before direction? I created a free reflection guide called Connection Before Direction to help you slow down, reconnect to what matters, and notice what you may be carrying out of habit, not alignment. This isn't a planner or a reset or a resolution. It's a calm, intentional pause designed for high achieving women just like you who want 2026 to feel different, not just look different. You can download the free guide right now at martinewilliams.com/connect. That's martinewilliams.com/connect. Because clarity doesn't come from pushing harder, it comes from reconnecting first. Welcome to the Life Coaching for Mompreneurs podcast, where you will learn simple solutions to win at work without losing at home. Hi, my name is Martine Williams, and I'm your host and CEO, your Chief Encouragement Officer. And this podcast is your one-stop shop to creating a burnout-proof life and business by elevating your clarity, confidence, and courage. Friends, it's time to say goodbye to being the yes girl, to procrastinating on your goals and living in overwhelm. And it's time to say hello to creating healthy boundaries, healthy mindsets, and healthy habits so that you can achieve work-life harmony. Your next breakthrough starts here. This is the Life Coaching for Mompreneurs podcast. Let's do this. Well, hey friends, welcome back to Life Coaching for Mompreneurs. I am Martine Williams, your host, your CEO, your Chief Encouragement Officer. And today we're going to talk about stressors, and completing the cycle. Because wellness is not a state of being, it's a state of action. And I read a book called Burnout. This is years ago. And I came across kind of this concept in reading the book. And it's something that I talk about inside some of my programs that I've had in the past. And I have talked about it here on the podcast, but it's been a little bit. So I thought I would talk about this and bring this topic to the podcast again today for a couple of reasons. One, sometimes the new year and the pressure of the goals and, this new identity or the new year, new you, which, I don't love that statement, maybe can create some stress. And I want to just talk about this secondly, because this is kind of my area right now. I do have real stress happening, and some of these things that I'm going to talk about today, I do almost not on autopilot, but just it's become who I am and how I handle hard situations and stress. And I just don't think we understand the importance of managing our stress. So my background, if you didn't know, I worked in cardiac rehab for 7 years before I became an entrepreneur. And so I worked with patients who had heart attacks, patients who had, quadruple bypass surgery, heart failure, high blood pressure, all the things. And stress is one of the number one risk factors for heart disease. And it's one that you can manage. And I think a lot of the time, our thoughts that we have about our circumstances create this like disbelief of being able to do anything about it, right? And this is just the way it is. And I'm just in a stressful situation. And I just, one day it'll go away type of thing. And I want to empower you today to think about stress and your stressors and completing the cycle. And I'll tell you what that means in just a second. But I really want you to pause and think about your stress, because the body keeps score, which is another great book. It's very sciencey, but it talks about the body keeping score on trauma and stress and all of the things that I find as women, we have this like human giver syndrome where we must at all times be pretty, happy, calm, generous, and attentive to the needs of others. And we're not supposed to need anything, right? We believe that lie, so we exhaust ourselves on all levels. And this creates stress. So, emotional exhaustion is the main element of burnout that has the biggest impact on us as women. You've heard me talk about other signs and symptoms of burnout that I think we just are not as in tune with. And so I do talk about those a little bit more. Most of us think of exhaustion as like the true like dead giveaway of burnout. And so I don't talk about it as much, but I wanted to today because emotional exhaustion, when I'm talking with my clients and we're going through their pro scan and we're revealing what their energy level is, what their energy style is, and where they're experiencing stress and energy drain, we talk about energy and we talk about emotional energy, mental energy, and physical energy. And 9 times out of 10, the women that I'm working with, it's not the physical energy, the physical exhaustion, it's this emotional exhaustion that is the problem. And so emotional exhaustion happens when we get stuck in an emotion, stuck because of a situation that we haven't or can't deal with. Could be a stressful job, could be your marriage, could be just for me right now, it's loss. And so we kind of get stuck in a situation where we haven't really dealt with that circumstance and we're kind of stuck in that emotion. So there's stress and then there are stressors. Dealing with your stress is different than dealing with the things that cause your stress, which are stressors. To deal with stress, you must complete the cycle. And this is the burnout. The book talks about completing the cycle every day. And if you don't complete the cycle, the stress cycle each day, then it compounds into the next day, into the next day, and the next day. And after years and thousands of hours, and thousands of women that I've worked with, this is what I see. This is kind of that 1 day strategy. And we don't realize the impacts and the compounding impacts of stress in our life. So, stressors are the things that activate the stress response in your body. Potential threats, this could be sicknesses, job loss, a health issue, something with your kids, financial, maybe expectations. These are the things that activate the stress response in your body. Stress is your body's neurological and physiological shift that happens in your body when you encounter one of these threats. And your body doesn't really know the difference in a real threat, like a lion, right, coming down the road to eat you, or a money threat, a job loss. And so your body has a neurological and physiological shift that happens when you encounter one of those threats or potential threats. You may have dealt with the stressor, but you haven't dealt with the stress and completing the cycle. Physiologically, your body is soaking in stress juice until you help it. Like I want you to think about that. When they talked about that in this book, I'm like, ew, first of all, but it really is what's happening. You're just soaking, your body physiologically and neurologically is just soaking in this stress juice until you help it. And we were not built to live here in that state, in that fight or flight response that is intended to save us. It actually can instead slowly kill us if we're there all the time. If you're constantly in that fight or flight response because of the stress that you have not released in your body, that you have not allowed to move on through, then what was meant to kind of save you, right, could potentially and slowly kill you. Heart disease, blood pressure, inflammation in your body, like all of these responses that come from stress, I believe have way more impact on our health than anything else, quite frankly. And yet we don't do anything about it. Most of us just accept it as it is. This is just a stressful time. This is just the way it is. I can't do anything about it. I can't change my circumstance. And that might be true that you can't change the stressor, but you can manage your stress around that circumstance. First and foremost, with your thoughts. We've talked about this a lot on the podcast, but it's not usually the circumstance, it's your thoughts about the circumstance that create the emotion in the body. So if you can change your thoughts about your circumstance, about your finances, about your health issue, about your job loss, or about expectations, fill in the blank there, that can actually change the emotional response in your body. I believe stress will kill us faster than the stressor if we don't give the body the resources to deal with it. So you've got all this pent up, and I believe this stress, some of you for years, some of you for decades. And you just keep going and performing and proving and perfecting and expecting of yourself the human giver syndrome, and we're not dealing with it. So there are some reasons that we get stuck in this cycle. One is the chronic stress, like stuck in the stress activating situation. Two is social appropriateness. We are taught to be nice, to be strong, to be polite, so we don't deal with our emotions appropriately or stand up to others. This has been one for me where, for whatever reason, some of the beliefs that I had that emotions were drama, emotions were just something you just fixed and you just picked yourself back up, put your big girl panties on, and just move on. And so I had a lot of unfinished business when it comes to stress in my body for a long time. And we can do well until we don't. It catches up to us. The body keeps score. So the chronic stress is the reason we get stuck, just stuck in that stress activating situation. Social appropriateness, we're taught to be nice, to be strong, to be the strong one, like don't deal with the emotions. Emotions are bad. And number three, it's safer to stay stuck in that cycle. It's like that survival instinct is to ignore and not deal with it, which was also mine. Walking around with years and years and years of pent up stress because it's safer. It's been messy, y'all. It's been messy for a couple of years. Me untangling my emotions, which is a great book if you haven't read that book too. Untangling my emotions. And it didn't feel safe. And I mean, there were many times where I told my therapist and my coach, like, I don't want to feel this. Like, I don't want to do this. So just being really honest with you, felt very unsafe to like crack open some of these things. But if we're thinking about this on a daily basis, checking in versus checking out, checking in on the stress, on the stressor and the stress, checking in on how we're feeling in our emotions in our body, checking in with what we need today. People have been asking me, how are you doing? Right? With everything that we've been through for the last, feels like years. Like today I'm good, but tomorrow, like yesterday, I was super weary, y'all. I was like not feeling it. And I didn't try to just push my way through it and perform my way through it. I checked in with what I needed. And then I gave myself what I needed. What if you just did that this week? Just checked in with your stress and then asked, what do I need right now? What do I feel like I need right now? And then go give it to yourself. Not Monday, not, a month from now, not when your business gets XYZ, not when you're married, like none of that. Like today. Quick pause. If you've been listening and you're ready to stop performing your life and start leading it, if you know you're ready to feel better now, not later, and you're ready for support that actually creates sustainable transformation, I have private one-on-one coaching spots open. And inside this coaching, in Illuminate You coaching, we don't guess. We use your unique personality blueprint built from the science-backed personality and performance tool called the ProScan, the one you've heard me talk about here in the podcast. This is used so that every decision, every boundary, every shift is designed specifically around your wiring, not someone else's. This is my aligned success method. It's not hacks. It's not try harder. It's not mindset glitter. It's a real solution. It's rooted in science, strategy, and your unique design. So you can lead your life as the woman you actually are, not the woman others expect you to be. Now is the time. Take the step. Book your clarity call at martinewilliams.com/clarity. All right. back to the episode. So how do we complete this cycle? The first one, and this is why it's one of my core four, and one of the things I talk about with my clients is physical activity. It's the single most effective way for completing the burnout cycle, for completing the stress cycle. Literally, any movement of your body is your first line of attack. Get up, walk around your house, get up, go outside, get up and move your body. It is medicine. This is why I was an exercise physiologist, but even beside that, it's free. You literally could just get up and walk, and that will immediately start helping you chemically, neurologically, physiologically with your stress. So I cannot stress that being one of your core things that's on your calendar every single day. I'm not saying you have to go do, what is that workout that's so hard that people did for so long? I feel like it's not as popular anymore, but the real hardcore lifting. I don't know why I can't think of it right now. But anyway, I'm not saying you have to go and do that, but physical activity is the single most effective way for completing the stress cycle. So I want you to remember that. Second one, breathing. Deep, slow breaths initiate that release in your body. So you inhale slow, a count of 4 or 5, hold it for 4 or 5, and then exhale for 10. And then pause for another 5. So breathing, we take it for granted, but deep, slow breaths. Inhale again, a slow count of 5, hold for 5, then exhale for 10, and then pause for another 5. Any of you can do this. It doesn't matter what your physical limitations are. It doesn't matter how in shape you are or not in shape you are. Any of you can do this. If you're breathing, you can do this. The third one is positive social interaction. So get around people, especially for my ladies listening that have that higher extroversion in your personality. This is me. This is my number one superpower. My number one strength is my people trait. And so it helps me, it gives me energy to be around people for the most part. Right now, in the state of grief that I'm in, like I'm limiting that a little bit, but it's why I love showing up for my clients. It gives me energy to coach. I feel like I'm talking with someone even here on the podcast. That gives me energy. So positive, that's the key word there, social interaction. This is not the time to be around people who are just going to feed the toxic stress and cause more. So this is where boundaries come into place and where you really are selective about the positive social interaction that you're having, who you're having it with. This could be on social media. Who are you connecting with on social media? Who do you need to like unfollow for a little bit? Maybe you need to unfriend them. But having that positive social interaction will help you to complete the cycle. Another one is laughter. Like I've always said, if you can make me laugh, we're going to be best friends forever. I love to laugh. And even better when it's done together with someone else, right? Like there are times where I'm just sitting on the couch and I love following like funny people. Those like deep belly laughs. It's good for the soul and it does help you to complete the stress cycle. So again, doesn't cost you anything to laugh. There's so many free little videos and people to follow on social media that are just there to entertain you. And maybe that's a way that you can complete the cycle. Affection is the fifth one. This is hugs, 8-second hugs, 6-second kisses with your spouse every day. Both allow you to pause and deliberately notice that you like the person that is present there with you, right? It allows you to slow down and receive love. So many of us are givers and we're giving love and we're giving affection and we're giving all day long to everyone else. And that feels good for a lot of us. But when's the last time you allowed yourself to receive a hug? Like my son has been asking me, or he asked me, he knows I'm sad. And he was like, Mom, was there anything I could do for you? And Like it's just grief and there's not really anything anybody can do. It just time is gonna have to be on my side. I said, but you can give me more hugs because I know the science behind the hugs. And I also know that just allowing myself to receive, to be seen in my grief and to be sad, and then allow someone to give me that hug helps me to complete the stress cycle every single day. And it will help you too. 20-second hugs. Have you ever tried a 20-second hug? It's longer than you think. 20 seconds seems short. It's actually really long if you're not used to it. If you're used to those quick hugs and out the door, research suggests the 20-second hug can change your hormones. It can lower your blood pressure, your heart rate, improve your mood because of the oxytocin that's released in your body. This is science, y'all. So maybe you just need to allow more affection, and that is the way for you to complete the stress cycle. All right, number 6 is just a big old cry. Big old cry. Just let it all out, sister. Turn on some music or a sappy movie and just let it flow. And music is a form of therapy for me. It is a form of stress release for me. It's how I complete the cycle. And sometimes it is like, it just allows me to just cry. It brings emotion up and it goes out, and then I'm good, right? Sometimes it's one song, sometimes it's 2 songs. A sappy movie, I don't really watch a lot of those, but if music didn't work for me, then I probably would watch something like that. But just allowing yourself to feel that emotion, let it come out. Because if not, like, I don't know if you've noticed this about yourself, but like the emotion starts to come up. I see this with my clients. I see it in their body. The emotion tries to come up, it gets to about their throat, and then they push it back down for whatever reason. I don't want to deal with it. It's going to be too hard, too messy, too difficult. It's what they've been taught to not feel the emotion, to just move on. But sometimes, or not sometimes, every time, when you just allow the emotion to be there, you create safety in your body that you can hold that emotion. And that to me is emotional wealth. And there's nothing more important. There's no physical, tangible, material wealth that is more important than your emotional wealth and health. So, big old cry, let it out. The 7th way to complete the cycle is creative expression. So, writing, journaling was something that I never did until I resigned from 31 or retired from 31. And I knew that there were going to be lots of things I feel like the Lord was going to be teaching me in that season. And I had a friend that had been talking about journaling forever. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm too busy. I don't have time for that. Plus, I again, was not in tune with my own emotions. And so journaling has now become a practice, something that I do to complete the cycle. And I can tell on the days when I haven't had any type of writing or journaling, it feels tense and tight in my body. Even if it's for 5 minutes, just to write it out. Another creative expression is playing the music, doing arts, anything artistic or creative, which again, all of those words I would not associate with me. But one of the promises that I gave my mother-in-law before she passed, she had started working on a needlepoint stocking, and she had done one for all of her grandkids, the last one, and she wasn't able to finish it before she passed. And I promised her that I would finish it. Y'all, I've never needlepointed in my life. So I got a quick lesson from a neighbor, and I've been working on that and just getting my brain into that creative expression state has helps me to complete the cycle. Sometimes it's a puzzle, helps me to complete the cycle. And so it's not the same, and you don't have to do all 7 every single day, but pick one that you can start with. Maybe it's just the breathing and allowing yourself to do that. Maybe it's just going for a 5 or 10 minute walk. Maybe it's just asking for more hugs, giving and receiving more hugs. The point is, we have to do something. We can't just sit and tell ourselves everything is okay because it's not. All of us experience stress every day. No one is exempt. And completing the cycle isn't an intellectual decision for all my thinkers out there. I'm raising my hand. It's a physiological shift that we want to create in your body. So, as we wrap up, I want you to decide, number one, what feels right out of those 7, and I'll review those with you again. Number 1 was the physical activity. Movement is medicine. It's the single most effective way of completing the cycle. Second one was breathing. Third one was positive social interaction with people. Number 4 was laughter. Number 5 was affection, hugs, kisses. 6 was just a big old cry, ugly cry. And 7 was creative expression. So decide what feels right. And here's the second part that most of us skip over. You have to schedule it in your day. Success is not an accident. This is a new habit you're going to be forming. And if you haven't been doing this, it's not just going to happen. Or it might happen for like today because you're listening to me, but then tomorrow you forget about it. It happens to all of us. So schedule it in and then protect it like you would your hair appointment. For all my ladies out there, you don't miss your hair appointments and you schedule your next appointment at that current appointment. So protect it like your hair appointment, or protect it like you would your child's doctor's appointment. You have an appointment with yourself every day to complete the cycle. So you've decided what feels right, you're scheduling in your day, and I want to challenge you to work up to 30 minutes. Maybe you have 30 minutes right now. You're like, easy peasy, I'm going to schedule it in. Maybe you're like, I don't have an extra 10, Martine, to add to my calendar. Number 1, I would challenge that thought that it's just an error. Where could you create that 10-minute or that 30-minute block? Look at your screen time. You'll probably find it there. No shade, no shame, just a truth and love to you, my friend. So we experience stress every day, and I want you to start making it a priority, like your life depends on it to complete this stress cycle, because it does. I have seen marathon runners come through the doors of our cardiac rehab facility after quadruple bypass surgery. Thin, not overweight, never smoked, never drank, none of that. But what he had was a high stress job. He was not managing his stress, and it caught up with him. He thought he could outrun it with his marathon running. And so I just want you to be thinking about the stressors in your life. What can you do about those? Can you situationally or circumstantially change the stressors? If you can't, then we've got to be managing the stress and completing the stress cycle every day. So I hope this kind of changed maybe your perspective on stress. Like, oh, I'm so stressed. Oh, I'm so stressed. Like we say it all the time, just kind of like we say I'm busy, and we don't realize the impacts of stress on our body, on our relationships, on our minds, how we sleep, all of those things. Stress is a number 1 risk factor for heart disease. And I think heart disease is still the number 1 killer in women. So this is something to cause you to pause, cause you to evaluate. I've given you 7 simple, doable ways to complete the stress cycle. It's your job now to decide which one, schedule it in, and then protect it. All right, friends, I'll catch you on the next episode. Well, that's a wrap, friends. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. I really hope it met you right where you are and gave you some encouragement for your day. Could you do me the biggest favor and leave me a rating and review? Seriously, it's the best way for you to support the show. And while you're there, be sure to follow the show so you never miss an episode. Thanks again. And until next time, I am believing in you always.